inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, 'cause real women don't bitch, no. Real women don't, 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 real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis.
Hey, what's going on, ladies? How are you feeling? I know that I've had some sensitive topics off and on here on the podcast, on Facebook, and my copy, because there's a lot coming up. You know, it would be nice to just give people strategy and say this is all you need in order to be successful. But there's so many things we know. We know we should wake up early in the morning, or we know we should map out our schedules, and there are things that we don't do. And not only that, we are coming up and dealing with baggage from abusive relationships, detached parents. And sometimes, depending on what we've been through, we may discount our struggle as not being that important when we see other people going through stuff. And so we don't necessarily always realize we need healing on a whole nother level. So I want to let you all listen in to a video where I talked about some abuse that I dealt with in my first marriage. And it's going to help you understand some things. It's absolutely important for you all to work through some of this stuff too, if you're going to be successful in business. And unfortunately, domestic violence, emotional abuse, and things of that nature, it's commonplace in relationships now. So I'm going to stop talking and give you all a moment to tune into this segment. You all have a beautiful day.
All right. What's good, Facebook? I don't know if you saw the title of this one, but I said before he hit me, airing my dirty laundry. And so I'm getting ready to share some stories throughout the next few days that, I mean, typically some may consider to be embarrassing. But I feel like I need to share them because of a conversation that I had today. So just bear with me really quick. I want to try to invite a couple of people. Hopefully some of you all will actually catch me live. It's a little bit more difficult. Yeah, never mind. That's okay. I'm not going to sit here and play with Facebook and try to figure this out. And so if somebody gets to join me live, great. If you don't, then I understand why. I see I got a viewer. So I had a conversation with somebody today because we were talking about shame, embarrassment, things that happen with our past. And hey, Terry, the labels that get put upon us. And I realized that there was for a long time, I didn't used to share my story of abuse in my first marriage because it wasn't graphic enough. Okay. And I hope that makes sense to you. I would listen to some women who had been through some things, and I would look at some women and I would see them with, busted eyes and stitches and putting on makeup and stuff like that. And since my story wasn't that graphic, how dare I be emotional and say shit about what I'm going through? And so I ended up talking to this woman today and sharing some things with her, and I want to share it with you all. In my first marriage, and this has nothing to do with shaming the dude. I mean, it is what it is. He had his demons he had to fight, and I realized and I learned that I had some demons that I needed to shed too. But in our relationship, the first time we got into a fight, it was because I was going on a skating trip. And the irony is that he met me in the skating rink. And something that I used to do, I was such an avid skater that me and some other guys and a couple of girls, we would literally go to Memphis every other Wednesday night just to go skate at their skating rink from like 9 to 1. We like literally leave St. Louis at like 4 or 5, get to the skating rink, skate, 1 o'clock leave, and then drive back home. For those of you that are familiar with family reunions, you know, Skills on Wheels is always the last weekend in April. You know, Chicago's has theirs in July. Atlanta has theirs in August. Memphis has theirs in October. And so all of these different states have these moments where they have these gatherings and you can go and you can get your skate on. And so this was a part of my lifestyle. Sorry about that. And he knew that when he met me. And so I was going to one of these events and he had a problem with that. He had a problem with it and he expressed his jealousy. And I was like, dude, just go with me. He didn't say it was jealousy. I was like, dude, just go with me. And I really don't even remember everything that happened. The only thing that I know is that he grabbed me and he pushed me. And I never, ever, ever had been in a relationship where a man had put his hands on me other than to be affectionate. And I snapped. And we was having this huge wrestling match. And I remember my oldest daughter was there. And what stopped it was I had this vase. I had this bottle and it had a top on it and things moved so fast. I don't even know when or how I did it. But before I knew it, I grabbed it and it was in between my fist and I hit him in the eye. And so technically before he hit me the first time, I hit him the first time, but it was in a fit of rage of self-defense because I didn't know what was going to happen next. And I remember going out of town anyway, like, what is wrong with him? Blah, 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 blah. And I came back to see that his eye was black. And he was weird. He was like walking around like it was a trophy. Like, damn, man, my wife black my eye, you know, she got me, y'all. And I was like, what? You know, what is it? And so whenever he would have these fits of rage, it would always be some pushing, some tugging. And it wasn't hardcore fighting. And I remember thinking to myself, like, how did I get here? And so he would say things, he would be demeaning towards me, he would talk about me, he wouldn't keep a steady job, he gambled a lot, he stayed gone a lot. I just knew he was cheating on me. And I remember one Sunday, because he was all like, hey, you going to church and all of this stuff. I left to go to church and we had bought a house that we were going to fix up. So he basically Jimmy rigged the way that he locked the back door. And since he was so upset with me and we still had old wooden windows, we hadn't upgraded the windows yet. And he nailed all of the windows shut. And I remember him nailing the door shut to keep me from getting into my own home. And he would just do crazy stuff like that. But I was still there. And it was a humbling experience for me when I came out of it, because I used to always, when I was younger, 19, early 20s, I'd never be in a relationship where a man disrespect me or any of those things. But I found myself caught up in a relationship that was dysfunctional, that was abusive, and finding myself being so concerned about praying and fasting and seeking God and being a better wife and, not wanting to, say or do anything to piss him off instead of just being like, this dude has lost his mind. And so one day we got into a tussling match. And I guess by this point he realizes, oh, this heifer, you know what I'm saying, will hurt me. And so he bit me and he bit a hole in my chin. And that was one of the most graphic things that he ever did. But I still didn't leave. I still didn't leave. And it was another time where he actually swung on me and hit me, but he fell. And I remember being so pissed off because as a self-employed entrepreneur, it was the insurance that I was paying for out of my pocket that he used to go and get his hand fixed. But you see what, but there's no black eyes. There's no bloody noses. And so I wouldn't tell my story because I was looking at other women that went through abusive situations where they dealt with so much more. And it took me 2 years to leave. And I left this man and I had nothing except for the clothes that were on me and my baby's backs and whatever it was that I could fit into my girlfriend's van. So between her van and my car. And so I didn't tell my story and I didn't share it because I reduced the value. I reduced and minimized the experience because it wasn't as graphic. But one day I actually had to realize, and I actually told the story on social media from beginning to end about my healing process and everything that I discovered about myself. And so why am I going to be airing my dirty laundry with you all? Because I want you to understand what kind of woman would put on the summit that I'm putting on. And a lot of you, we did this video the other day, like you think your ish don't stink, but it does. But some of you think that your ish, you think that it doesn't stink. But a lot of you, what you don't realize is that because you didn't necessarily get molested from the age of 3 to 7, or because, you weren't, your mama didn't trade you off for drugs, that your issues and your pains in life were not deep enough for you to need to get some help. You think that what you went through was so minimal compared to other people that you need not discuss it. And you're going to walk around and say that you were okay. But long before this man was in my life, I was dysfunctional. And that is why I attracted someone and didn't allow myself to see his flaws for what they were. And this is why I married this man, because I was damaged before he even came along. There was already the issues of abandonment from my mother and from my father. There were already the self-esteem issues from the things that my aunt said or did that they still don't even realize matter to this day. And so I was willing to tolerate abuse because the people that were supposed to love me the most were the ones who treated me the worst. And so that's how I ended up being with someone who would try to slap me in my face, that would bite a hole in my chin, that would nail me shut out of my own home. But all of those details aren't as important as you all realizing that your issue is that you may have a story that you feel pales in comparison to that. And so we can't compare our story to another sister. I understand that I didn't look like Tina Turner. I understand that I got the first black eye off on him. That doesn't mean that I'm okay. And so a lot of you are not owning up to the fact that you need to get help and you need to release your pain because your story isn't graphic enough. And what you don't realize is what you're doing is you are so focused on your past still and the labels associated with it that it has you in captivity and you cannot get your freedom. So I don't know what you've been through and I don't know what your story is. You might didn't get beat with a wire hanger, but you may have had a mother that every single day looked at you and told you you were stupid and she doesn't know where you get your damn brain from. Sometimes you act just like your fucking father. And those words, when you have been longing for your daddy to be in your life, and God forbid that you found out that the reason why he wasn't in your life was because she kept him out of your life, not because he was a deadbeat, has you jacked up. And while you may still feel like, but that's my mother, and so I should love her and I should be connected to her, you resent her and you can't stand her and you want to cuss her out, but you don't want to be disrespectful. And not to say that white people don't do it, but come on, y'all. I remember being a young girl going to school, and I remember the first time in the DSEG program, I heard a white kid say, "Mom, leave me the hell alone." In a black family, you didn't do that. You looked at your mama wrong with her back to you. I know you didn't roll your eyes, and something might come around the corner and knock you upside your damn head. You didn't talk back. What an adult said was right. What they did was right, and you just grinned and you bored and you took it. And that's what you're doing with life right now. Life is beating the shit out of you, and you're bearing and you're taking it. And so when you look at some of the people that you're connected with, you're looking at them, and you know that saying that it could always be worse has been internalized to a degree that you're looking at your situation and you're saying that it's not bad enough. But your situation is much worse than you believe it is, and it has you crippled. It has you dysfunctional. It has you processing information inappropriately. And I'm here to tell you, sis, that it don't have to be really graphic. It just needs to have reduced you. It needs to have prevented you from being 1000% comfortable being who you are. It needs to have silenced or stifled your voice. It needs to have blocked your creativity. It needs to have made you think that you shouldn't be in certain places around certain people, that you weren't qualified enough and you needed to do one more thing to look smarter or to look worthy or whatever it is. And any of the experiences in your life that has made you think that you need another degree, that you need another level of certification, that you need another testimonial from a client, that you need more people standing behind you, that's your pain. Anything that you have been through that has made you think that you'll never find a man that will love you, that makes you think that you're supposed to tolerate people that treat you half-ass okay, that makes you think that you should always be asking people, do they need help, but you're not asking for help. Anything that happened in your life is not about the magnitude and how graphic it was in comparison to someone else. It is about what in the world did that experience do to you. Pain is pain. And some of you couldn't even handle the pain of another sister. But what you went through, when you look at it and you weigh it, that level of their struggle was what they could bear, and your level of your struggle was what you could bear. And so it's not about looking to see who has the biggest nuts. It's about the fact that we've all been through something. And so by having this conversation with this woman earlier, I said, dang, that's one of the things that's the problem. A lot of women are not saying yes and are not showing up and signing up for the summit because you honestly don't think that you need it. You honestly don't believe that you've been through enough that you should sign up and that you should come and get your healing. All of these women don't have sad stories. All of them don't have sob stories. But what they do have is they have stories of overcoming. And sometimes the overcoming was just their mindset to say, I don't have to be attached to this business model anymore. My vision gets to evolve or gets to expand. Some of it was to get unlocked from corporate and to then begin to pay and blaze their own path instead of believing that the only thing that they were really good to do was that thing that they went to school for and not being afraid to embrace their creativity. And then for others, it was having very low self-worth from being sexually assaulted. For some of them, it was to become strong because you felt violated. So you needed to be stronger to make sure no one ever hurt you again. That's why there are varying degrees of speakers. For some of you, it was your friends, your so-called friends. It was your parents. It was the naysayers. For some of you, it was just the mistakes that you made. It was the societal issues. It was the racism and the stereotyping. Everybody's experience was different, but everybody's experience was valid. And so the Awethentic Collective Summit is not about who has the worst horror story to tell. It's about recognizing the fact that what you've been through is paramount and that you need to get your healing. One of my friends, Anitra, shared a video today and it had Alicia Keys on there. And the question was asked, hey, Tammy, hey, Ingrid, oh, wow, hey, Tiffany, it just popped up, that when they said, what's one of the things that, people would get wrong about you? The question that I'm answering is wrong, but the bottom line is Alicia Keys says that she's never really been able to just blow up and just go off on somebody. You know, there was a gift that her mother had, that she began to fit this mold that people had, this expectation, like she doesn't cuss and that she's just super nice and that she's always happy, and that that's not so. And with all of her success, you watched her, Jada, the mom and the daughter all sit with one another and share emotion, share tears, share love, share gratitude. If they have money and they going through it and they healing, how much more compounded is your pain, and you're also struggling to advance in your career or build your business. And so on top of all of the emotionally, spiritually, damaging things you're going through, you're also economically crippled. That's real talk. That's real talk. And so I'm pleading with you all to do two things. Number one, if you know a sister that needs this, tag her and tell her to come get her help. Share this video, hey Iris, and then register for the summit. It's online, ladies. Don't tell me that you have to work. Don't tell me that it's not a good time. That's why the all access pass is literally only $47, so that you can go back and you can watch it when you need to. And you see this bad boy right here. Some of you that order early will get it as a print format. But those of you that order late, you will still get it as a PDF and you can print it out yourself. But this book, which is called Authenticity Unleashed, it is me taking you through each interview to ask you questions so that you can relate to what the speaker is going through and internalize their experiences so that you can also open up to getting your healing. So you've been set up to win. You've been set up to heal. The question is, are you coming? Are you coming? You've asked for this in your spirit. This is why you keep seeing it in your feed. This is why you keep seeing me on the videos. This is why the speakers keep promoting it constantly, incessantly. Sign up, okay? You have no idea how much love there is in this place between all of the speakers for you. We are on a rampage. And we're not going to be able to rest until all of you get what you need. So I'm going to get out of here. I just wanted to share that. I'm going to pin the registration link up to the top, and you guys make sure that you get registered. We are less than a month away. We only have 3 weeks to go. It kicks off on the 11th. For those of you that have vacation time or your children may be out of school or whatever, set aside the hours. Set aside the hours, don't miss it. So I'm going to let you all go. I love you. And I'll be back again for some more real talk and to air my dirty laundry. Bye.
Thank you for taking the time to tune in and to listen to my story. That's my story. And there are plenty of you out there who have yours as well. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure you click the link and register for the Awethentic Collective Summit. This is about liberating sisters from social, emotional, economic, and spiritual stigmas that block our greatness. So I'll see you at the summit. Bye.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomen.don't bitch.podcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. Signing out. Deuces.
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher.